Logan Pierce walked into the Midtown Atlanta restaurant with everybody watching him. The air was tight with nerves, nothing moved unless his crew moved first. Word spread quick, billionaire in the building. Logan sat down, business phone in one hand, scanning the menu without touching it. He wanted quiet, not crowds. The kitchen sent out a plate by mistake, shrimp and grits, smoky with fresh lemon, which wasn't anything fancy. But Logan tasted it and paused. He didn't expect real food in a place like this, let alone something that tasted like home long gone. She didn't mean to serve him her past, I tell you, but now the room belonged to their story. Nia, the black waitress, stood frozen. Her hands trembled when he asked, "Who made this?" She stepped up, voice barely above a whisper. "I did," she admitted, the whole dining room holding its breath. The recipe was hers, learned in a shelter he'd funded, tying their worlds together in one bite. If you've ever found comfort from a stranger's kindness, only to learn it was someone you judged, drop a comment. Those surprises change everything. Like and subscribe if you believe second chances come when you least expect them. Let me show you what led to that dish, and why it matters more than anybody guessed. Nia's first memory of real safety happened in a Birmingham shelter, far from glitz and glass, with steam from old pots rising in the air. Her mother brought her there after months spent running, faces tired but gentle. The kitchen was run by women who stitched lives back together over meals. Nia learned the simple shrimp and grits recipe from a neighbor, her hands grew steady with every spoonful. Every dollar her mother earned mattered, every shift in the shelter meant food on the plate or none at all. Meanwhile, Logan sat in a San Francisco boardroom, approving funding without feeling the results. Charity was a line on his resume, something for the press. But for Nia, those checks kept the shelter open, kept her cooking. At night, she resisted hugs, too shaken by memories, but her mother would comb her hair gently, humming old songs until sleep came. That touch was her first warmth in a long while. Years later, the news hit, the shelter closed. Funding moved to a bigger project hundreds of miles away. Nia and her mother were out again, her recipe packed in memory only. High school lessons fell behind as she started jobs nobody dreamed of wanting, each day a fight. Tears blurred her vision in kitchens that never felt kind, but she wiped them before anyone could see. She got by with smaller pay, hoping her mother wouldn't notice. Her mother's health faded, pills cost more than groceries. Nia kept working, sleep-deprived and scared, just to keep a roof over their heads. She cooked because it was all she had left from better days. Then, one rainy afternoon, Logan ordered in her restaurant. He never saw her face, never knew her name, but their worlds were set to collide. The difference between their lives is day and night. Logan's days are viral videos, business contracts, empty Miami penthouses where he never stays long. He talks about success online but dines alone more often than not. Money pours in, but quiet never fills the gap. That night in Atlanta, he just wanted food, quick, clean, forgettable. Nia lives inside the tension of kitchen work. Customers bark, tips come short, but she soldiers through to keep the lights on. Atlanta's hustle never lets up, her hands, rough from work, are the roadmap of survival. For her, every dish passed through sweat and exhaustion. By mistake, the shrimp and grits are placed in front of Logan. The restaurant rings with chatter, plates singing against porcelain, rain knocking outside. Nia stands at the edge of the kitchen, watching silently. The manager nervously glances her way, he wants credit for the dish, sure it will win Logan's approval. But when Logan asks who cooked, Nia steps up. She feels small, heart pounding with pride and dread mixed together. The staff whisper, she knows she might have broken a rule that could cost her everything. Time pounds harder, everyone waiting. Nia doesn't lie about her work, she risks firing for truth. Logan considers her, the room suddenly smaller, tension running strong. Just as the manager tries to step in with a joke or an excuse, Logan stands up. In that instant, no one knows if he'll threaten her job, demand more, or leave it all behind. The next move is his. Everyone's future hangs in that silence. Logan stayed on his feet a moment too long. The whole place felt off balance, waiting for his next move. Instead of leaving, Logan sat down again and asked for another plate, this time with Nia standing close. He wanted to hear how she learned to cook, really cook, so she told him bits and pieces, careful not to say too much. Nia's mother's name came up, gentle and strong, like something you whisper instead of shout. For Logan, it was the first time thinking about all those charity checks in terms of actual lives, not numbers for a website. He tried to look relaxed, but his fingers kept playing with his ring, nerves showing through the act. Nia gave Logan the story in small pieces, always checking his face, never sure if he was judging or listening. Their hands grazed when she refilled his water, and she pulled away too quickly. Logan's face warmed, watching how her cheeks colored in the neon light crawling in through streaked glass. Nia's voice shook, telling him how the shelter's closure turned everything upside down. Logan's mouth went dry with a guilt he didn't expect to feel. The manager tried interrupting, hoping to control the conversation, but Logan quieted him quick. Now all eyes were stuck on them, Nia risking her job, Logan risking being seen as more than a figurehead. Logan asked if Nia would sit with him for a meal. A camera phone lifted from across the room, flashing for a moment, something about the future hung in the air, ready to tip. Nobody knew what to do with the billionaire sharing dinner with a waitress, especially not at a place where people paid extra to feel exclusive. Nia sat at Logan's table, ignoring all the eyes and half-heard whispers swirling. She forced her hands steady as she poured wine, her pulse jumping when Logan caught her wrist, gentle, not possessive, just noticing her nerves. Candlelight moved between their faces, jazz fading in and out. Atlanta's sticky heat made every word feel heavier. Logan let Nia talk, barely interrupting, hearing about her life before the city crowds. Eventually she admitted the recipe was her last tie to safety, to home back in Birmingham. Logan dug deeper, asking quietly why the shelter closed. Nia explained the board's late-night decision, how corporate money zipped off to build something fancy in Miami, leaving families with nothing. Their stories mixed, both exposed, naked in this strange honesty. Logan's phone buzzed with work texts, he ignored them for once. Nia stayed for dessert, Logan ordering cornbread and peach ice cream, a taste from her childhood. It felt like more than business. Then a reporter in the corner snapped a picture. Logan didn't blink, but Nia's stomach dropped at what this could mean. Sometimes eating with someone isn't just about food, it's a public confession. The picture would be out before sunrise, ready to reshape both their lives. Morning rolled itself out across Atlanta with too much noise. Logan's picture with Nia hit the internet, twisting their dinner into everything the city's rumor mills wanted. PR teams swarmed Logan with frantic calls, but he didn't back down. Nia's manager panicked, pressed her hard to rewrite her part of the story or risk getting fired. Screens glowed everywhere, names trending where nobody wanted them. Nia lay awake, phone buzzing until it died, reading messages both sweet and sharp. Logan's phone filled with demands, handle this, make it go away. Both faced more attention than they'd ever needed. Logan called Nia late that night, voice tired but determined. She answered in a whisper, laughter sneaking in where relief used to be. That call stretched past midnight, words leaning close, accidental intimacy. For Nia, it was like a song her mother used to hum after a long day, soft and steady. She told Logan about beds shared with strangers, lullabies that chased away storms. Logan listened, really listened, feeling the gap between rich and poor tighten just a little. Work threatened Nia's safety, Logan's investors wanted answers fast. The fight wasn't just about food anymore, it was about reputation and worth. Neither wanted to walk away, not with the truth in play. Logan drove across town that night, knocking on the door of her small apartment, ready to offer something he'd never offered before. Logan stood in the hallway, suit jacket wet from the light rain, shoes leaving clean prints on the old carpet. Nia's apartment looked nothing like the places he called home, paint chipped, furniture secondhand, but he didn't mind. Inside, everything felt quiet, except for both of them breathing. Nia wore pajamas, her hair still damp, caught between embarrassment and hope. Logan apologized for the trouble his name dragged her into. He listened, really listened, while Nia spilled out fears she'd locked away, losing her job, her mother's health, being judged because of him. Logan shared his own isolation, scraps of success mixed with deep loneliness. For the first time, he admitted money didn't fix what mattered most. They sat close, knees almost touching on a couch that sagged, talking until the world faded away. The tension built with every story traded. Nia wondered if he cared genuinely or felt sorry. Her guard didn't drop easy. Logan reached for her hand, she let him. The smallest gesture felt big in a night full of uncertainty. He said he wanted to fund a new kitchen, Nia's project alone, but warned her of fights with his company's board. Time pressed in, Nia's mother wasn't improving, every day a gamble. Nia agreed, on her terms only, taking back control she thought she'd lost forever. As Logan left, he stopped at the door, leaned in, and his hand brushed her cheek, breath mixing in the narrow space as hope and trouble swirled together. Logan came back to Atlanta ready to fight. He and Nia toured buildings for the new kitchen, meeting with city officials, local donors, and people who didn't believe in change. Birmingham's community leaders eyed Logan with suspicion. Nia knew better than to expect trust from people used to broken promises. The best spaces cost more than she dreamed of, but Logan pushed, refusing to let deep pockets push her aside. They argued sometimes, strategy, control, the pace. Nia fought for the shelter's mission to stay true, not just another headline. Working close, Logan and Nia's chemistry grew. Flour dust coated Nia's arms as she marked measurements on blueprints, Logan's laugh soft as he reached out to wipe a streak from her forearm. Sometimes their hands linger a little too long. She tried not to notice, he failed to hide it. Together in tight quarters, stubbornness met attraction, each pushing the other further. Still, old doubts haunted Nia, was she just another story or did she really matter? Logan struggled with not letting his name erase her. Disagreements spiked at meetings with investors, Nia held her ground, Logan backing her up in public. They walked a thin line, working as partners, learning where business stopped and care started. Just when it seemed progress would stick, Nia's mother collapsed at home. The call came in the middle of building negotiations. Nia turned frantic, deadlines swept from business deals to ER rooms. For a moment, everything they'd worked for felt at risk, not from money, but from time running out too quickly. Hospitals taste cold, even when the world outside sweats with warmth. Nia raced between the half-built kitchen and her mother's side, chasing deadlines she couldn't see. Machines beeped softly all night, food meant nothing when breath came hard. Logan didn't show up with flowers, he came quietly, offering only company, not solutions. Nia leaned into his steady presence, his hand drawing circles on her wrist, not speaking unless she wanted him to. They found space together in hours that dragged, the world shrinking to focus on her mother's labored breathing. Her mother caught their hands one morning, asking them to lean on each other. Words felt heavy, urgent, last wishes dropped in the quiet between heartbeats. Hospital bills grew faster than hope, and Nia raged against charity, pride fighting the need for help. Logan didn't press, he just held her hand, insisted they were partners. Trust twisted quietly between them, both unsure how to handle the pressure. Each day, the possibility of loss hovered. Emergency surgery came fast, the price steep enough to threaten everything. Logan stayed, refusing to leave Nia on the longest night she'd ever faced. She didn't cry until the lights dimmed. That was how she let herself accept comfort, just for a moment, just from him. As dawn stretched across the city, they braced for what the news would bring, clinging to the sense that hope could still survive the hard things. Pressed by circumstances, Logan called in favors, set up an Atlanta fundraiser to cover Nia's mother's operation, announcing that a simple kitchen recipe once saved his own soul. The city's wealthy arrived with their wallets and their opinions. Nia, unused to such eyes, had to stand on stage and spill her story. Atlanta's lights felt harsher, but Logan whispered encouragement from the wings, fingers tracing hers for luck. Cameras buzzed, testing her resolve. She spoke, voice firm, breaking only when she mentioned shared meals, laughter and hard times, her mother's love wrapped around the recipe everybody now craved. Logan's eyes shone with real tears, caught by photographers who would sell every emotion for clicks. Nia's truth reached the crowd, dividing it. Some donors mocked, but Logan didn't let it slide. He called out cruelty, and the tension in the room snapped. That moment, public support shifted. Big names pledged funds, pride clashed with need, pressure built around them both. As donations ticked up, Nia felt exposed and stripped bare. Logan's board grew nervous, worried his open support would tip company balance. By the end, the project got funded. But scrutiny grew heavy, more questions asked than they had answers for. Nia's pride stung with every handshake, good intentions tangled with doubt. As they left the event, Logan squeezed her hand and promised none of this would change what they'd built. It felt honest, but the world outside was buzzing, waiting for the next headline. Atlanta didn't sleep after the fundraiser. Tabloids twisted Logan and Nia's story, mixing it up with race, money, and motive. City streets bustled, meetings grew tense, and the buzz in the air felt like a warning. Logan's board called him in, wanting answers. They wanted Nia gone, the kitchen deal buried. He refused. Nights got longer, stress broke him down in his penthouse, lights dim. Nia came over late one evening, the two of them sharing quiet beneath heavy air, bodies seeking comfort and passionate relief nobody else saw. Their closeness was a secret, but the truth in their eyes was real. Nia's patience slipped with every fresh rumor. Logan tried to protect her, but his patience wore thin, especially as he began to wonder if she'd lose her dream for him, or he'd lose his for her. Their world shifted as phone screens spilled new trouble, and one morning, words like threats crept in and made her job feel unsafe. For the first time, Nia worried the fight might cost her more than she'd ever risked before. The line between their private pain and the tangled city outside blurred. Reporters demanded answers, a press interview brought everything into the open. Nia and Logan sat on studio chairs, nerves visible, hands tight together. The cameras missed how Nia squeezed Logan's palm as she answered hard questions. One reporter pressed her, tried painting her as an opportunist. Nia didn't flinch. She spoke of her mother's worry, her own battle not to be used and tossed aside. Logan cut through the spin, sharing his own fear of losing people, his past abandonment echoing in public revelation. It wasn't easy. Answers came raw, never rehearsed. Nia allowed herself a soft stroke over Logan's hand, a promise she wasn't alone. Their story wasn't just love or business, it was dignity at stake, an open challenge to anyone who watched. The crowd responded in real time, online support rising, but so did the backlash. Ambitious board members circled, sensing Logan's vulnerability, plotting for their own gain. This vulnerable moment gave them new allies as well as enemies, chords of respect ringing out but also a mark for trouble ahead. They left the studio not knowing what the next day would bring but certain their fight was about more than headlines, it was about what the kitchen had always stood for. Everything felt quieter after that. Nia returned to the hospital to find her mother awake, fragile but firm in her pride. Logan joined her in that small room, space shrinking until nothing but hope filled it. Rain smacked the windows, city lights alive below. Later, when Nia and Logan found themselves alone, neither needed words, just bodies pressed together, holding back the noise outside. Their intimacy was quiet, marked by slow trust. They undressed each other carefully, letting every breath say what mouths couldn't. It was more than relief, more than heat, it was Nia's first real hope. She told Logan in the silence how she'd never let herself want so much, how the risk of loving him scared her deeper than any headline. He kissed her, promising he'd never ask her to fight alone. As the night faded, Logan slipped from her apartment, hope and worry tangled inside him. His phone buzzed with a new message, a threat disguised as business. Suddenly, even promises took on the weight of danger. Birmingham's ribbon-cutting ceremony was packed, every face tense with expectation. Nia squeezed Logan's hand as they stood in front of friends and critics alike. The kitchen shined in morning light, a beacon in the city. Just as she stepped to the mic, a board member pushed forward, announcing old plans and blaming Nia for publicity stunts. Logan drew Nia close and whispered bright promises, weaving intimacy through the friction. Nia's heart thudded. She spoke for herself, not shrinking under charges. She staked her claim to the project, calling out lies and pride with steady words. Support rose in the crowd, Logan's trust and backing clear to all. Threats of lawsuits hung in the air, Logan ready to lose everything for what they'd built. Legacy, career, family, all twisted together as the police walked in, rushing past to address another emergency. Nia's mother collapsed again, the celebration cracked. Nerves snapped, everyone moved, all hope hinging on the doctor's word. Hospital rooms are the hardest places to wait, but the sun always finds its way in. Nia's mother survived, barely. Nia and Logan held hands by her bedside, sharing quiet relief as the world spun on outside. The kitchen's future was safe, funds secured, and city leaders finally gave their support. Logan and Nia embraced in the pale light, bodies close, dreaming together. Their joy was not loud, but strong enough to hold. Nia's mother blessed their union with a smile, her words gentle but full of finality. Logan faced the fallout. He resigned from his company, trading wealth for real love and purpose. Months slipped by, and the kitchen thrived with Nia's recipes feeding those who needed comfort most. Atlanta's lights glowed at night, and Logan and Nia stood together, stitched together not by money but by struggle and choosing each other every single day. If you've ever risked everything for someone you love, or helped build hope where it seemed impossible, tell us in the comments. Subscribe for more stories full of heartbreak, courage, and new beginnings. Sometimes the wildest dreams are born where loss and love collide.